All right, this is your 8-4 notes. It's over trig. Okay, so this is your SOHCAHTOA that I'm going to teach you about. It says the ratio of the lengths of two sides of a right triangle is called and it's trigonometric. So trigonometric ratio. Okay, the three ratios are, so there are three of them that you have to know. One of them that we're going to do is going to be sine. It's abbreviated SIN. Okay, so sine, if you write down this SOHCAHTOA, we're going to use this a whole lot. So SOHCAHTOA. Right, so what that means is that sine, if you look right here, is opposite over the hypotenuse. So I'm going to write it out first, and then we're going to use the letters opposite over hypotenuse. And so what that's equal to, if you look at R, okay, opposite is going to be R over your hypotenuse is going to be your T. The next one is cosine that we're going to look at. So I'm going to write out cosine, and then we're going to abbreviate. Okay, so if you look at cosine, that's the ca part. That means adjacent over hypotenuse. And if you look at your picture, okay, so if we're looking at R, adjacent to R, right here is S, and your hypotenuse is still T. So this will be S over T. The last one we're going to look at is tangent, abbreviated tan. Okay, if you look at tangent, that's your O and A for the TOA. That stands for opposite over adjacent. Okay, so if you look at angle R, again, your opposite is R, your adjacent is S. So this will be R over S. Okay, so we're going to do a couple examples. It says find the sine of A, cosine A, tangent A, sine of B, cosine B, tangent B. Express each ratio as a fraction and a decimal to the nearest tenth. All right, so what we're going to do here, first we're going to start off with sine. So sine, okay, I'm going to write this down again, SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so sine is opposite over the hypotenuse, and we're focusing on A right now. So opposite is 5. And your hypotenuse is across your 90. So this will always be your hypotenuse. So that's 13. Type in your calculator, 5 divided by 13. And we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, so it's 0.38. Okay, next one's cosine. So that's the ca part. That means adjacent. So adjacent is 12. And again, your hypotenuse is 13. 12 divided by 13 in your calculator is 0.92. Then we have tangent. Tangent of A is opposite over adjacent. So again, opposite and adjacent. So that's 5 over 12. Type that in the calculator. It comes out to 0.42. Okay, so now we are looking at B. So again, I'm going to write down SOHCAHTOA. And we're doing B now. Okay, so sine is opposite over the hypotenuse. So again, this will always be your hypotenuse. Opposite here is 12, hypotenuse is 13. 12 divided by 13 is 0.92. Okay, cosine is adjacent. Well, adjacent to B is 5. Hypotenuse is always 13. Remember, that's your ca part right here. Adjacent and hypotenuse. 5 over 13 as a decimal is 0.38. And last one we're going to do is tangent. Tangent again, that's your TOA, this last part. Opposite over adjacent. So 12 over 5. Type that in the calculator. It comes out to 2.4. Okay. So now what we're going to do is 3 examples for each one. First thing I need you to do, though, is I need you to write 43 degrees in here because it's not in there. So first thing we're going to do is find x. Okay, so looking at 43, you have opposite and you have your hypotenuse right here. So looking at SOHCAHTOA, okay, you want to decide which one has opposite and the hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse would be the SO part. So that means we're going to do sine of whatever angle we have in here, which is 43 degrees, is equal to opposite, which is x, over your hypotenuse, which is 18. So now we're going to have to solve for x, which means you're going to multiply both sides by this 18. So that gets rid of those 18. So we have 18 times the sine of 43 degrees is equal to x. Okay, so make sure your calculator is in degree mode. If it's not in degree mode, you're going to get the wrong answers. So type in 18 sine 43, hit enter, and when you hit enter, you should get 12.28. If you did not, go back and make sure that your calculator is in degree mode. And that's the mode key right beside second. Okay, so that is the length then of BC. Okay, next one that we have 43 degrees. If you look right here, you have what is adjacent to 43 degrees, and again, you have your hypotenuse, and that's what we have to find. Okay, so looking at SOHCAHTOA, you want to see which one of these has the adjacent and has the hypotenuse. So here's adjacent and hypotenuse, so we're going to use cosine. So cosine of 43 degrees is equal to the adjacent, which is 9, over my hypotenuse, which is x. Okay, anytime you have x in the denominator, all you have to do is flip-flop these two. So you'll get x is equal to 9 divided by cosine of 43 degrees. Again, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. When you type this in, you should get 12.31. If you do not get these answers and you're still having trouble, come see me and I can help you with that. Alright, so that's the length of your hypotenuse. Last one here. So again, look at what you have, okay? So there's my 43 degrees. You have opposite and you have the adjacent. So when you look at SOHCAHTOA, you want to see which one of these has the opposite and adjacent, and you notice that is your tangent. So you have tangent of 43 degrees is equal to opposite was your x, adjacent is your 9. So to get x by itself, you just have to multiply both sides here by that 9, because that gets rid of this. So 9 times that tangent of 43 degrees is equal to x. Make sure your calculator is in your degree mode. When you type that in, it should give you 8.39. And that is the length of that side. So that's how we can use these ratios with your degree of one angle to find the lengths of the sides of a triangle. Alright, and I believe that is it. So if you have any questions, just let me know.